Hello and welcome to CMS Forex News. I'm your market analyst Nick Nassad. Today is Thursday, August 13, 2009. The German economy expanded in the second quarter compared to the first, with GDP increasing 0.3%, a figure that surprised forecasts. Expectations were for another quarter of contraction. On the year, the economy shrank 5.9%, which was also an improvement from the first quarter's 6.7% decline. In the Eurozone, the GDP shrank less than expected in the second quarter, contracting only 0.1% compared to the first 3 months of 2009, when the economy shrank a quarterly 2.5%. Today's figure beat forecasts, which saw a 0.5% decline. The euro extended its gains against the dollar from yesterday in today's session, climbing above the 1.43 level at the start of New York trading. The GDP data from the Eurozone can push the theme that the Eurozone will emerge from its recession sooner than expected, which strengthened the euro. Today's rally stalled at the 1.4360 level, the low from last Thursday, prior to the decline in the pair in the wake of the non-farm payroll release. The euro-yen advanced overnight, but capped its recent up move at 360 pips. A weak report from the U.S. hurt risk appetite and strengthened the yen against its rivals in New York trading. From its high near 137.85, the euro-yen pair slid 215 pips, moving below its open for the session. U.S. retail sales unexpectedly fell in July, sliding 0.1% when expectations were for a 0.5% increase. It was the first decline in sales in 3 months. Taking autos out of the equation, sales were worse, sliding 0.6%, as the government's Cash for Clunkers program spurred auto sales, though it may have caused consumers to spend less on other goods and items. Also from the U.S., the number of people filing initial claims for unemployment benefits rose 4,000 to 558,000 for the week ending August 8th, a figure that was higher than expected. However, the number of total people continuing to receive benefits fell by 141,000 to 6.20 million for the week ending August 1st. That reversed the gain in total claims seen the previous week. The figure for initial claims remained below the 600,000 mark for a 6th straight time, which shows that the steep job cuts seen earlier in the year are slowing. The dollar-yen, following the retail sales news from the U.S., fell in favor of the yen as risk aversion increased. The pair retested its low for this week near the 95 level. U.S. stocks, which fell at the open in response to the news, rebounded by the afternoon, with all 3 main indexes breaking into the green, though barely. Stocks were generally higher around the globe as the news from the Eurozone helped bolster prospects of recovery in the global economy. That helped commodity currencies like the Australian and New Zealand dollars. Overnight, the Aussie-US dollar pair rose to retest its high from last week around the 0.8450 area. That level is the highest we have seen this pair this year. The link between negative U.S. news and strength in the greenback is fading somewhat as the safe haven appeal of the dollar relative to commodity-linked and higher-yielding assets dissipates with the end of the financial crisis. The U.S. dollar-Canadian dollar tested its low for this week near 1.0790, but then saw the loonie gaining as the loonie gained on better stocks and risk appetite in overnight markets. The greenback did manage to get back its losses following the U.S. retail sales release, with the counter rally retesting the day's high from earlier in the session. Tonight, New Zealand will post its retail sales figures, while Japan releases a measure of services activity. Overnight, the Eurozone posts its revised version of consumer prices. Tomorrow, the U.S. will reveal its consumer price index, along with data on industrial production and the preliminary version of the UMich Consumer Sentiment Index. Canada, meanwhile, releases data on manufacturing sales. And that concludes today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us here at CMSFX.com, and join us tomorrow as we wrap up the week. Have a good evening and happy trading.